Law enforcement is trying every possible means to stop criminals. Criminals, on the other hand, are trying every possible means to escape. You'll be shocked when you hear the details in the police reports. Here's one such detail. In Arkansas, you never know what you'll run into at night. Seattle police received a report of shots fired from a moving Porsche Cayenne. After locating the vehicle, officers moved in to stop it. However, the sports car had no intention of stopping. To stop the Porsche driver who was weaving through parked cars. As if playing a game of cat and mouse, a police officer executed a PIT maneuver just in time. The suspect immediately shifted into reverse and attempted to flee backward, turning the scene into a war zone. Thanks to the police's intense intervention, the suspect was apprehended. Fortunately, the 3 dogs inside the car were rescued unharmed. A silver Chrysler 300 sped past a police officer on patrol in Little Rock during the day at 140 kilometers per hour. The officer immediately turned on his sirens and gave chase. It was clear from the start that this wouldn't be an easy catch. The suspect acted as if the red light wasn't even on, drove onto the grassy area, and sped past the waiting cars. It must have made the other drivers wonder, why are we even waiting here?
Passing Frontier Diner.
I'm right here in front of the outlet on the North Service Road.
Getting on big 120.
The suspect, who had significantly increased his speed on the highway, ramped up the danger. The car began to drift on the curves. He pulled into the emergency lane, trying to pass the cars on the right. In short, he started trying every possible way to escape. However, toward the end of the chase, he made a completely unexpected move. Suddenly, the suspect steered his car toward oncoming traffic, causing a nightmare for civilians. At that speed, a collision would likely have reduced both vehicles to scrap. Fortunately, no accident occurred, but the police were once again made aware of the seriousness of the situation.
Coming up on 100 State Parkway.
Had a chance to conduct the test.
I'm going to be behind A4. Looks like a single occupant black male driver, goatee, do-rag. Cars on Otter Creek.
Show me your hands! Show me your hands!
The suspect's car swerved again, and this time his speed dropped. At that moment, the police car managed to stop him with a flawless PIT maneuver. Acting quickly, the police officers drew their weapons, pulled the suspect out of the vehicle, and subdued him. The officer, who had just gone through a tense ordeal, couldn't hold back and harshly asked the suspect, "Why didn't you just stop? How many people's lives did you put in danger?" The driver had no answer. He was handcuffed and sent to jail.
Down! On your face!
A routine traffic stop conducted at midnight turned into chaos, just as you saw a moment ago, and ended tragically for 2 police officers. You'll be surprised when you learn the reason why. Perhaps you'll even find the police's generally harsh approach justified. Please share your comments with us.
East of them. 7 coming here. Right.
Making a left on Ingram.
Alright. It's going to be eastbound on top.
If you enjoy high-speed police chases and detailed police reports, don't forget to subscribe. You can support us by giving us a hype rating. Thank you.
Southbound 26. Approaching Broadway. Eastbound on Broadway. Approaching Walker. Go east, put the stop stick up. Just block him in. Oh yeah. Approaching. You okay? Yeah, there's a trip running in the head for you guys. Yep, there's a trip right there.
The people in the vehicle belong to a radical ideology. That's why they acted deliberately against the police. You can never predict what you'll encounter on the streets of Arkansas at midnight.
Check the westbound, you okay? Trooper just spin him out. Alright. Go ahead. Okay, he's continuing. Southbound, you okay?
After the first TV-I maneuver, the driver of the overturned vehicle was determined not to stop. He hit the gas again and continued fleeing in the opposite direction. With a police force in hot pursuit and the wailing of sirens, he turned the night into a nightmare.
He's on the service road. Those units around the apartment complex up there. Okay, let their trooper get back around you. He's coming up behind you. Somebody on Broadway where it comes out. So we can still stop things by Park Plaza. 9-5, I'm in that area. Alright, I'm trying to get him from. Yeah, I'll get him there. So he's swerving all over the road and you already get the problem. Alright, it's off your flat 2 times. He's now traveling into oncoming traffic with 2 flat tires. He's gonna lose control. Alright, he's coming up on 14th. Still westbound.
That's a nice screen.
I'm coming up beside him. He's shooting over in oncoming traffic again. Alright, he's passing 7. Looks like he's going to turn. South on 7, south on 7.
He just lost the tire.
Yep, he lost the tire. Alright, get somebody beside him.
To bring the chase to an end, the police began to organize. Constantly communicating via radio, the officers started setting up roadblocks to stop the suspect vehicle. At this point, the police do not know that the people inside the vehicle are hostile toward the police. If this had been a situation that could have been identified in advance, the police would likely have tried a different approach.
Somebody else can get those sent out, stick the front cars. Alright, he's still going east?
Still going eastbound.
He's going across as well. He's across as well. What's your speed? 45 miles an hour. North on 14, north on 14. Coming back up the driveway. See what we can do, get him stopped before he gets to Broadway. That's 14 the problem. Jackie's approaching me now. Terrible because he does have a flat.
7-4 finna get beside him.
He's going to be continuing north down to 14. North and 14 across the Broadway. Okay. Is the trooper anywhere in the pursuit? Negative, I do not see him. Looks like he's attempting to turn westbound onto the college. Westbound on the college. Correction, eastbound. Try to get on up there, see if we can box him in.
The suspects, who had exited the highway and were heading toward residential areas, realized they had made the wrong decision but never considered stopping. There were 2 people in the vehicle, and the driver was a woman.
He's about to turn north. Get in front of him at this time.
I'm boxed in right here.
Alright, continuing north on McCullough. North on McCullough. I'm going to eat.
7-4.
Well, you got units. Alright, still north. Still north, coming up on Barton. Continuing north, past Barton.
I'm gonna stomp this motherfucker's face in.
When I get up to 18, service road. Yeah, get up to the service road.
Despite a series of TVI maneuvers and roadblocks, the suspects refused to stop, leading to a tragic outcome for 2 police officers. The officers were forced to open fire to bring the suspects to a complete halt. This tragic incident has frequently been discussed among police officers. The fact that this incident occurred following a routine check led people to sympathize with the police. What do you think? The catastrophic failure of the Grappler, axle-locking device deployed by the Riverside County Sheriff's Office to bring the pursuit to an end led to what amounted to a disaster on the streets of California. The tactical equipment which deputy sheriffs intended to launch from the front of their patrol car to lock the rear wheel of the fleeing vehicle failed to produce the desired effect. During the intervention, the suspect's vehicle spun out of control and came to a halt only after causing an extremely violent and destructive crash in the midst of civilian traffic. The massive impact of the collision completely wrecked the vehicle, instantly turning the scene into a war zone. Immediately after the crash, sheriff's deputies surrounded the wrecked vehicle with officers wearing bulletproof vests and carrying firearms, establishing a security perimeter.